Yeah.
Hi. The universe has a perfect timing, because in the moment I said I go out again and I try to see if it works, you enter.
Perfect. Now it's here. Perfect timing. How are you today?
I'm really good, and you?
Yeah, I'm also really good. Great.
Can you hear me well?
Yes. Using your mic?
Good. Yes, I'm still at the beginning with that, so I always do a check just to be sure. And
Nice.
we can hear you well too. Just
Great,
I think
great.
we can see you, but we can see you sometimes. I don't know if it's just me, that I see you sometimes a bit blurry. Guys, you're there also. Who is in the chat can tell me if you can see Shani well. Maybe it's just my connection.
Okay.
Can you see?
Blurry. If not,
Yeah,
I
but
can
we
change
can hear
different.
you. But we can hear you. That's the important. Blurry. Okay. Thank you for the feedback. I think he went to check the connection probably. Let's see.
Is that better?
It's still a bit blurry, but the good point is that we can hear you well.
Okay, that's the most important part.
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, now it's a bit less blurry for me, so maybe it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that fixed it. I switched it to the data, so it should be a little bit better, but you know, technology.
Sometimes it works less well, but it's okay the way it is. The important, as I was saying, is that we can hear each other well.
I've just learned a new thing, actually. I've learned about Mercury being in retrograde. I didn't know about this.
Whoa,
Apparently,
yeah.
it's a good thing to blame technology on.
Yeah. With Mercury in retrograde. Okay, we are really lucky that we have a good audio. Okay. So maybe we can start.
Yes.
So for the ones who are here joining, this is the fourth episode of Dream Chasers. Dream Chasers episodes are about stories of some inspiring people that have pursued their dreams. And today we are here with Shani, that will share a little bit of his life journey with us. And yeah, I'm really curious also to hear, because I know him a little bit, but I don't know him so deep, so it's also something new for me. And actually I was inviting Shani because we connect recently in a beautiful gathering that you organize with two other amazing souls. And I really enjoy his gathering so much. He really helped me so much. And I was just feeling the call to invite him here to share, because I really felt that as he helped me, his insights can help a lot of many other people. So that's why I invite you here.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you. I feel honored to be here.
So I don't know if you don't want to share a little bit about yourself before I start to make to you some questions. Let me know what you prefer.
Yeah, I think you introduced me quite well. So I've been working mainly as a mentor and coach online, and I started mainly online, but then began to work with people in person. And recently I started with a co-creation gathering with a few other people, and this went amazingly well. And over the next year, this is going to be our main focus in creating these spaces as well as online.
Shani, you do it amazing. Please keep going, because what I witnessed and I participate in when you organize your last gathering was truly amazing. And so we can start a little bit with some questions that I have for you. So what inspired you to become a coach and a mentor?
Yeah, I think this is this started because I was in a bad place myself. So I started off quite in a depressive state in my life. We have the internet is breaking a little bit. I don't know if it's okay now, but I started off in like a low place myself. And when I decided to like improve my life and started to work on myself, it wasn't long until I noticed that I started to improve myself in certain areas. Oh, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you okay. I can hear you really well, actually, yes.
Okay, so yeah, I started to improve myself and work on things like my confidence, my social skills. And then I learned that once I could teach myself to go from a stage where I was pretty much started at zero to then helping other people, that like once I learned to help myself, it's very much like a simple process to then share that with other people. It just came naturally. And I started as a kind of helping people for free, helping friends out. And to be honest, I never really wanted to be in front of the camera, in front of the spotlight, because I felt like I would always be like behind the scenes, supporting other coaches, kind of I would prefer to, like, for the first 3 years of my coaching, I didn't record any videos. I didn't want to share much about my journey or myself. I was kind of working with some friends and helping them because I felt like I didn't want to show myself too much. But then it just got to a point where I looked at that as more of a selfish action, and then uh, started to share more from there.
So you said that it comes to you naturally. So it was something that you didn't at all expected before.
No, I think it just because I realized like how low I was and how I was able to help myself from there, because I didn't really have a support system when I was at my lowest. I only found out about
Okay.
coaching and mentoring at a later stage of my life. I didn't even know it was possible. So then I wanted to create something to help other people who are like struggling in some way. So it started with trying to help people just without any kind of vision of what I'm doing, or just kind of just trying to help. But then I noticed that yeah, there's different ways that you can help people, and maybe some people are not ready to be helped, and some people are looking to be helped, and there's also marketing and business that goes into it. So there's quite a lot that you can learn, and that just kind of something that I've learned over these years, but it wasn't ever part of like a plan. I felt like it just kind of, in terms of the coaching, it just happened as I was helping friends, and then went from helping one or two friends to okay, let's create a group, and then from there to like let's just work more on myself. And then as I started to work on myself, people wanted to know like, okay, how can I do that as well? And I felt like yeah, going from there into like creating this community that we're creating now, if like if I look at it, it seems like a huge jump, but it just happened so naturally.
And Shani, can I ask you when it happened that you start to go towards your path as a coach and a mentor? It was how many years ago that it happened that you?
I would say I started taking it seriously around the COVID time. Before that, I was
Okay.
kind of helping some friends with their coaching and doing things from behind the scenes. So I'd already had some experience with it, but it wasn't so much me. It was just more of me supporting. But when I started to take myself seriously as a coach was yeah, around that time, because I think that was when people started to be more open with like things like Zoom calls and having conversations and things like
Yeah.
online. I got into breathwork, and that really helped me to kind of share something that I'd learned. And I feel like for me that was the first step, was first learning this skill that could help me calm my mind, and then sharing that, and then gradually going from that into, yeah, I feel like for me, the coaching and mentoring has just come from asking the right questions to certain people at certain times in my life. And it's something that I've always done, just even with like family or friends. Just I don't really want to like share too much of myself, but sometimes like I would ask people questions and they're like, okay, that made me, your questions made me think about something in a different way.
Yeah. And when people they listen themselves, is always really powerful to give to them their insights. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And what challenges did you face or did you encounter during your journey? And which strategies did you use to overcome them, if you had challenges, of course, in the case you had?
Yeah. I mean, I think at the start, the biggest challenge was like the imposter syndrome, because it's like feeling like I don't have the right to coach somebody because I don't know enough, or maybe I'm not going to be able to help them. And I think that was the biggest challenge of my own block, of like seeing, maybe believing more in myself, that actually, yeah, I can help somebody who is maybe on the same path that I was on, and they'd gone down certain roads where I'd already gone there and realized that that doesn't bring you fulfillment. So then I can tell them that, okay, you don't need to go down that path, you can take a different road. And I feel like that was the biggest shift in the way I saw coaching, was that I don't need to be perfect and I don't need to know everything about everything. And that was kind of the biggest challenge for me, was recognizing that, and just seeing that if I'm here and somebody wants to be where I am, and they were kind of where I was a few years ago, that maybe me helping them with something small can actually make a big difference in their life.
Thank you for sharing. So it was perfectionism, one of your challenge. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah, but also just not believing and
mhm.
kind of thinking that I don't know enough, because it's like
Okay.
thinking that I'm not enough, that maybe I need to do more before I can coach or help people.
Okay. So it was not being enough.
Yeah, yeah, I
And
think that was.
how did you overcome that? How did you face that?
Yeah, I think the main thing that helped me overcome that was just realizing that I was. And I think it's not a case of like trying different techniques or anything, but it's just like some real self-reflection and understanding deeply that, yeah, I can help somebody, and just knowing that where, like, maybe the way that I'm helping them at that moment may not be the best possible way for in every situation. Like, I may look back at it 2 years from now and think, okay, I could have helped them in another way, but realizing that maybe if the intention to help them is there, that I can do everything within my power to do that. And yeah, having more belief and confidence in my ability to help and support people was, I think, one of the biggest, yeah, shifts in myself.
And also, yeah, I was listening to you, and I was feeling the fact, that in the moments that you are there with the intention, to help the other
Mm,
person, even though maybe you will not do everything, perfectly, or maybe, of course, there can always be done something better or different, but already the fact that your intention is helping, you are already give so much to that person. So it's already a lot.
yeah, exactly.
And
It's intent.
sorry, Shani, I think you got
Ah,
broke a bit. The connection got
okay.
a bit break. Try to
Yeah,
repeat, okay?
okay, that's fine. I just said it's the intention. That's fine.
Okay. And because you are coach and mentor, so in your opinion, what are let's say, of course, there are many, so I'm just asking what you think, your opinion, are the most common, some common challenges that a lot of people face when they are trying to pursue their dreams?
I think the way that I've understood it from all the people that I've worked with is that people tend to have blocks in three different areas. It's usually they have blocks about their own ability, like themselves, like it's related to myself and me and my mindset and about me. Then there's also blocks in relation to other people, like how does my success look, or like how will that person perceive me, or how will this person think about me, and it's just like projecting things outwards. And then there's also a block when it comes to like the technical side of anything. So maybe technically, like you want to start a business, but you don't have any self-doubting blocks, and you don't care what your parents think, you're going to become successful anyway, but you technically don't know how to do marketing. So it's either one of those three things. It's either like they're facing some kind of technical block of like not knowing what to do. But if they know technically what to do, and then they know like they don't have any like self-limiting beliefs, and they also don't worry about what the external environment thinks about them, then that gives them the foundation to actually be successful. But that doesn't mean that there will be, it just means they don't have any blocks so that they can go forward and start taking action, because that's the next step. But in terms of the blockages, those are the three main areas that I usually identify with people.
Okay, thank you for your insight. And when you encounter these kind of blockages in people, what's some of the strategies that you would work with the person, and yeah, what would you do with the
Yeah.
person?
Well, I think
What you
first
would
of all,
suggest?
yeah, I think firstly it's about identifying which area the block is in. So if the area is related to yourself, it's very easy that you can fix it because it's related to me. So I know internally I have this little technical side of things. It's
Sorry,
just
Shani, you got.
okay. Did I get cut off a little bit?
I think a little bit. Now I got you again. Now you are here back. Yes, now you are
Yeah.
here.
So I was saying if it's related to myself, then I know that I I'm the one who's responsible for improving me as a person. Then nobody else can take that power away from me. Then I can then improve myself. So all of the self-limiting beliefs are something that we have the ability to change. But usually people, the reason that they have those blocks or those beliefs in the first place is because it's been implanted for some reason. Maybe they've had like a negative experience in their past, and that negative experience has created this belief. So what it's about is about, okay, diving into that negative experience but not reliving it, not feeling any kind of shame about it, but just diving into it and identifying what story they've created about themselves for it. So if they're saying like, okay, I had this experience when I was 5, and now that means I'm this kind of person. And then throughout their life, they live their life like they're a certain type of person. So once we identify that, we dive into these past experiences, and then we can see why the story was created in the first place. It's much easier to dissolve that at the root cause level. And that's where we use like meditations, and I use a lot of breath work when we get into that space to allow people to like let go of things that are like stopping them. Because one thing is identifying where the blocks are, but the next step is actually letting go of those like
Using it.
little things that are causing the blocks in the first place. And
Okay.
that's a lot of what the work is.
Okay. So breathwork and meditation are two tools that you use a lot for diving into the
Yes.
past.
So I use
Okay.
them as tools when we get into that space to actually let go of certain things, but it could be a different tool. Like maybe as simple as writing something on a piece of paper and throwing it to a fire could be a tool for somebody. Like that could be a great tool, or just like jumping into an ice bath could be a great tool if it's used with
With
the
me,
right.
it was amazing too, Lash, but for many
Yes,
things,
exactly.
actually.
So I think these are tools that we can use if we have the right understanding of what we're trying to let go of, then it can be incredibly transformative for anybody.
Thank you for sharing. Actually, yeah, I was thinking about when I had my ice bath, that because I had the ice bath with Shani, and it was a really strong experience for me. Actually, I'm really grateful because for me it was it was something that I went through some blockages because I've been afraid from the cold, and the cold is
Mm,
really linked to my childhood and the place I grew up that I didn't
mm.
like at all. So there is some trigger with the cold and myself. So it was a really strong experience for me in the ice bath. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, you did great.
Uh, Sorry.
Yeah, it was great. You did well on the ice bath.
Yes, I keep calm, but still, it was a strong experience for me. Yes. And where I was, see, yeah, you were answering to me to the question about which tools you're using. And sorry, I interrupt you at some point. Would you like to add something, or did you have concluded?
Um, yeah, I think that covers the main process of how I identify what the issue is and then work with somebody on some tools. I want to say the reason that I'm able to go through that process is because this is the same process that I use for myself. So when I was working on myself throughout these years, the tools that I was using and the method that I'm using with people is the same method that I've used on myself to let go of a lot of things from my past. So now it's it's a case of seeing, okay, this worked for me, this worked for a couple of other clients of mine, and it will work for you as well. And taking people on that journey. And now I want to do that more in person after doing quite a lot, yeah, over Zoom.
Why would you like now to do more in person? Do you feel more the connection in person? Why would you prefer to do in person?
Yeah, I think um, on the one hand, in person, you can have a bigger impact in the moment with somebody and help people get to realizations. And even within the, like when we're doing it in a group setting, it can also trigger other people's like realizations in that moment. So you can have more of an impact in a group setting like that. And I also enjoy the dynamic of being live and also sharing and like we did the Master Heart, for example, on top of the cliff, and that was an amazing experience. That we had like so many people sharing their life experience, including yourself, and then
It was so
we
beautiful.
got to,
I was there, and I can say that it was really beautiful.
yes, yes, it was. And I think like the reason that I still enjoy doing things online is because the in-person thing, it's great, but then people tend to have a good experience and then leave uh, and go back to their regular self. So that's why it's important to stay connected through calls and keep people on track, keep them accountable, but then remind them of the experience that they had in person to then bring them back to what's possible.
Yes, thank you so much. And here we can maybe link to another question that I would like to do to you. That is about because you were sharing how you would like to go more to in presence instead of online. And it's really linked with your new project that is co-creator community and your last gathering that you were doing in Peniche. So I would love to ask you, how did you start this project? And yeah, and how was going the journey with it, and whatever you feel to
Yeah,
share about it.
yeah, sure. So firstly, it was it was so special to have our first gathering when we did a few months ago. There's going to be a lot of videos and footage released. We're already releasing a lot of content from it now, but over the next few months, we've been editing it and we'll share a lot over social media. We have a lot of great footage, and this is a project that I've been working with Heitor and Uma on this project, and the way it was created, very interestingly, it was after a Mushina event, an ecstatic dance. We went to the beach and we pretty much had like a retreat experience between us where we were just like sharing a lot and realizing a lot and had like this great connection between us where we're like, by the end of it, we realized that we need to do something together. It's like we didn't know what. We were just like the three of us, and we just need to create something where we can create and offer this experience to other people. And this was in the summertime, and we planned to do something around the summer, and it never really manifested. And then we went off in. We kind of went from there.
Sorry, Shani, we lost you.
Oh,
Can you repeat your last sentence because we lost you for
okay.
a couple of seconds? Yeah.
Yeah, so I said this happened in the summertime, and then we went off in separate directions. And then afterwards, we decided to join up again in Paniche as well, at a friend's house. And there, the idea just came to me where it's like, we just wanted this experience, but it didn't exist. And we wanted a place where we can live, where we can hang out with cool people and also do our work, because we all work remotely. We want to do our work. We want to have these like morning yoga, morning meditations, live with nice people, have good food. And that experience didn't exist. So we're like, okay, let's create it. And it took us a few months between sitting there and having the idea to actually manifesting it. And I feel like for us, this was the biggest lesson for me, was that at no point during the whole creation process did I believe that it was not going to happen. Like, I fully knew that it was going to happen. And to be honest, we were at a stage like 5 days before the gathering where we had zero money. Nobody had paid us to, like, we had people who were interested, but nobody had booked. So we were like questioning if we should call it off. We were like, we probably should call it off. It makes sense to call it off. But then we just went ahead with it. And we're like, we're going to do it. It's going to happen. And we all fully believed that it was going to happen. And then we just did it. It's like within those 5 days, we fully sold out. And I feel like it's a great lesson, because we wanted it. And after we created it, like, everybody who went there said it was an incredible experience, because there was so much intention and energy behind the space we created. We wanted to create the space, and I see Heitor here and Paolo also, who's at the gathering, is showing some love. Because yeah, if anybody who's watching was also at the gathering, you can share some comments as well, because we had such an amazing connection, and we built this feeling of home, this feeling of like safety and openness, but also the time to do your work as well. It was like we created this space, and this is our intention for going forward, is we want to create more of these spaces more often. There will be an announcement very soon. I won't say too much on this, but we do have some important announcements coming up. So make sure you follow
Now
cococreators.com.
you're making me curious. Now you're making me curious. When will be the announcement? In
Yeah,
January?
we have cococreators.com. Uma's here in the comments, so make sure you follow there to hear for the announcement in the future. But yeah, there will be
Okay.
announcement.
Because now, okay, I'm looking forward there for the announcement now.
So this
And
was the way we get it.
sorry, I'm having a problem with my phone. Okay, now I'm back. Sorry, I was having a problem with the phone. And so during all the process that you create co-creator gathering, you were sharing that the fact that you were fully trusting, and that you were truly believing that it would happen, make it happen. So that's a real, that's a real example of how manifestation work, because you really manifested, guys, until then.
Exactly. And I visualized it, like when we arrived there, I could see it happening before. So that's why I couldn't let go of the idea that it was never going to happen. I was like, we have to like make a choice of, are we going to fully make this happen, or are we going to like call it off? And at that point, like to me, there was no question that it was not going to happen. It was like, of course it's happening. We just need to find the people for it. And then it happened. So
And I feel when you fully believe and desire something, then you don't know how, but if you have the vision
yes.
and you have the spot where you were arrived, then the road unfolds itself. So you don't know how it happened, but then magically things happen. People start to sign up, and things just start to roll.
Yes, and I think for me this was a big lesson as well, because when I first started my coaching, I was and I was always trying to I never felt comfortable with sales before. I always thought like it was a manipulative thing. And when I was trying to sell my coaching when I first started, I was having a lot of trouble because I didn't believe in it. And it wasn't until I got some
But
clients that I fully
what
believed
do
in.
you mean? Why you didn't believe? Like the problem was that you didn't believe in the quality of your service at the beginning. What was the?
Yes. Yeah, I think
Okay.
when I first started, I didn't believe that I was able to change people's lives. I just thought that I'm just doing this because everyone else is a coach, and that's why I want to be a coach, and maybe I should just stop. And these were thoughts that were going in my head. And when I was on the call with somebody, I would feel that as well. But then when I was creating this and when we were like working on this, like if I compared the start of my coaching journey with the start of this journey, the biggest difference was my full belief and trust in this. And I had that full belief and trust in my coaching after I had proof that I can do it. But this one, we didn't have any proof that we could do it, but I fully believed in all of our ability to create it and make it the experience it was. And we knew what we were going to create beforehand because of that weekend we spent at the beach. And from that, it just turned into what it turned into.
Yeah, it's something very beautiful. And also, I of course, you had a dose, of course, of also, of action and planning, because of course, you as well, you put a lot of energy in it, and
Of
when you
course.
put a lot of energy on something, then the energy come back. So because I saw all your work behind it, guys, and you were putting your best energy, all your love, all your dedication to create it, what you did. So you really deserved, to see your vision fully happening.
Mm, yes.
Uh,
Yes, it was. Thanks.
and what's your, if I can ask, what's your dream in your vision for the future? That is really connecting also as well, of course, with your project.
Yeah, I think for me now, I'm at the stage of community building. So, like, what I realized in the gathering is that everybody already has the tools to help themselves, and they just have blocks. They just have their own blocks. And it's not like us as the space holders we're better and more advanced or we know more. Like in the gathering, most of the people who showed up knew more than us about lots of different topics. And the reason that they wanted help with certain areas is because they were blocked. So for me, the space, the idea for the gathering and what we're creating is to give people the space to unblock themselves and to allow them to bring forward their. Oh, has your internet died?
No, I was just checking because I saw a comment before that the
Okay.
internet was breaking, but I think it was previous comment. So I was just checking that I'm
Okay.
sure that it was about before. Can you hear us well?
Okay.
I think now it's working. Probably was
It's
a comment from before, Shani. It's okay.
probably. Yeah, so I think that's basically it. The idea is creating spaces for people to realize that they can unblock themselves, but giving them the tools to help themselves and to do this in more of like a community way. So the project that we created, the co-creation gathering, it was for 10 days. And during the 10 days, everybody said that their screen time went down a lot. Their time for socializing went up. We were eating meals together. We were hanging out together. We were having conversations, drinking tea, and connecting with people. And we were living like how people are supposed to live. And I feel like that's what I want to create, is spaces for us to go back to actually living. Because a lot of people now, we spend time going from one screen to another screen to another screen, and then you go to bed, and then you repeat that cycle again. And it's not a very natural life to live. And we're not going to completely like push away the screens as well, because we need them to perform our job. So we're creating a space for us to work as well during the day, so you can have that time to focus on your project. But then when you're not focusing on your project, you don't need to be scrolling through Instagram all day. And I'm sure people here have been scrolling all day and have found this, but it's not healthy. It's not a healthy way to live, of just like scrolling through, watching other people live their life. So yeah, is to allow people to actually live their own life, and to do that in a more large scale.
Thank you for this sharing, because it is really true. Like, it's exactly the way I felt when I was in the gathering, you know, what you are sharing here. And the importance of the community, it's really huge in our life. Actually, I went through something really recently that really made me reflect about that, and the gathering was just the confirmation. Because when we are in community and when we are all together, we don't need to, we are not all the time like with the phone, we're not all the time lost, you know, in so many distractions that they don't really matter, that they're just distractions. And we have all together so much more, I don't know, creativity and power to realize many things and collaborate to unlock whatever we want. So I really felt this energy, you know, of creation, and this energy of family and support when I was there in the gathering.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like that's why we decided to call it co-creation. And because the idea isn't that we are just creating by ourselves, it's that we are all creators and we're creating it together. And this was a big one of our principles, is that it's not about one person and one person's ideas. It's about us joining together in the group. We create the space, but then you guys create the experience. And this feeling of community and family comes naturally to people when they're in that space. And the problem is that now everybody's so disconnected. You probably live in a building where you don't know any of your people, like your neighbors in the building. That's just normal now.
Yeah,
But that
I don't
doesn't,
know
that's
my
not normal.
neighbors.
That's not a normal way to live, like even 50 or 100 years ago. Like neighbors were people that you knew, they were part of your
Yeah.
community. Now people's community is so small in terms of in person. It's like it's all online, and people are getting more and more disconnected. So it's about building that connection with between people and creating this family, this tribe, this community.
Actually, it's coming back to the roots, because as you were saying, like some centuries ago, people were not living like isolating an apartment in the city. So actually, it's the way it was, because before there was, in the past, there was so much more tribe and community, and our society push us to be so much more lonely, and that's not, at least for me, is not a happy way of living, because I don't feel fulfilled to live like that. So everybody can resonate with different things, of course, because everybody is different. But if I can speak for myself, for me, experiencing what I experienced in the gathering was super amazing. And Shani, can I ask you something also? Um, when it comes about pursuing dreams, um, how much do you think community and being supporting by a supportive network, a community can help you. The connection between the two, how strong it is, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think it's very important. I think for me personally, I've experienced and gone through a lot by myself. So in the early part of my journey, I was somebody who wanted to do it by myself. Maybe like my family or my tribe that I grew up with weren't supporting me. So I was just like, okay, I'm gonna do it by myself. I'm gonna make it happen. And this is quite common for a lot of people who go against maybe what their parents think of them, their parents' ideals for them. They feel like, okay, because I rejected my family now, all family and tribe are bad because of this. And then they go through their life thinking that they need to do it by themselves. But I think there's a limit to what you can achieve by yourself. And when you connect with other people who are on the same path of you, who all have the same mindset and all connecting as well, like it's unlimited what you guys can achieve together. It's amazing. So I think it's so important to have a tribe of people who you're connected with, who are on the same path as you, who are like, yeah, on your journey supporting you. I think it's very important, and it can yeah, improve it so much. Mm.
Sorry, my
Yeah, I
phone
think
is a bit crazy. I was commenting, I was answering to a comment of a friend who was watching on my phone. Some problem in
that's fine.
typing. And thank you, Shani, for your sharing about that. I totally align with what you were saying. I totally.
Yeah, and I think it's something that we may have forgotten of, like in our current experience of life, and maybe we don't really have that same connection to community or family that like people in our past generations did. But
And
it's
that's why it's so
yeah,
important to bring it back, some experiences like that, like you are doing, guys, because you are bringing these kind of experiences to people
mm,
so they can experience it and see, how they feel.
yeah, exactly.
Because I'm sure that some people, that will join your gathering, maybe they join, also because they're curious to see how to co-create, how to, maybe they're not used to, and they discover new ways and they discover new things, and it's opening a new portal
Yes.
and a new door to discover something that maybe some people they're not used to, and then they can really resonate with.
Yeah, I think people want this. I feel like there's a lot of spaces for people to connect, but they're not able to connect. So, in my experience, I'm a digital nomad, and when I was traveling to other places, like I would go to co-working spaces, and usually I'd see people there who are working like me on a project, but then because everybody's so busy on what they're doing, you would never find the time to connect with these people. And maybe you'd go to a cafe and you'd see like 20 people that you could be friends with and could be part of your community, but you'd never meet them because everyone's just so focused and busy on their own path. And that I feel like what we're creating here is the space to connect people and to show them that actually these people were working on these conscious businesses who are looking to elevate their spiritual practices, that yeah, you are part of one connection, family and tribe, and we can all grow together. And that's the mission with it.
Thank you, and it's amazing mission, and you will bring it really, really well, guys. Now I'm super curious, about the announcement. Now I cannot sleep tonight because I want to
Uh,
know when will be. I'm kidding, but yeah, we. I hope it will be soon. So
yeah,
there is another gathering in 2024. Can you do just this spoiler if there will be another gathering in 2024? It's a simple question.
uh, for that, I can say there will definitely be a lot more from us in
Okay,
2024.
okay.
For sure, this was not just a one-off thing. I feel like we have a lot of plans, and for sure there'll be something special.
Thank you, Shani. Thank you for your time. There is some comment, guys. That's true, Shani and Katarina. Okay. Love you, brothers. Maybe you were not seeing it, Shani, because you were speaking. Maybe we can open space if someone would like to ask something or to share something. You can feel free to share. I don't know if Shani, you want to add something else, or if you want to see if someone maybe want to share something.
Yeah, if anybody wants to share anything.
Also to say your opinion about the importance of community co-creation and to in your life.
Yeah,
It was a big topic actually that we were speaking right now, and I feel it's something really, really, really
yeah,
important for many of us. And if
right. I
not,
think it's
it's so good. We are also
I think what's
perfect the
important
where
with
we are. Sorry?
what's important with what we're creating in our community is we want to create a space where people are okay to be themselves, okay to be vulnerable, but also they're working on something. They have a vision and a mission. So it's like, yeah, we don't want to just create a space for people to just go there and just kind of hang out and meet other people, and maybe then, okay, maybe we've made a couple of friends. I feel like for us, the idea behind co-creation is that we're looking to connect people who are working on something, but maybe they feel like they're missing a little piece. So they're like, okay, I'm working on this project, but I'm not able to access this part, or I'm not very good at this. But then bringing together people who are all working on something, and maybe they can help each other with different parts of their projects. So the idea is to create this autonomous community where people are sharing their skills and knowledge with each other, but also bringing abundance to it, because I feel like this is happening now within these communities, but people are just like offering a yoga session in exchange for like a breathwork session, and then if there's no abundance with that. So it's about how can we can elevate each other, elevate ourselves, but then also bringing prosperity and abundance to our lives as well through this, because a lot of people I've met do so many amazing things and they're not getting paid for it. So they have to stay in their regular job. So I think that's a big part of what we're doing is that.
Shani, you get broke one sec. Your connection get break. Can you hear me? I think it's not working. I think it's not working. Sorry, Shani. I think it's not working the connection. Maybe let me try to see. No, he disappeared. I will try to invite him again because we were not really finishing it. Maybe I can try to invite him again and see if he will come in. Meanwhile, okay. I think we need to give meaning. Hi,
Hello?
Shani. You're back. Amazing.
Yes.
Welcome back. So,
I had some issue,
and
but can you hear me okay?
now we can hear you perfectly, yes.
Okay.
Actually, you are having a better connection now because you are less blurry. Now you look beautiful.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. So I don't know what happened, but I just got cut off a little bit. But what part did you hear?
You were in your last sharing, and then we had here also a sharing from Katerina that I think is really good to read you because it's really
Okay.
important. I think we need to give meaning of the word community again, because what you were she's saying that because what you were sharing when you were sharing is that the idea of community that you want to bring out is not just hanging out and chilling and exchanging. Is being connecting together, working in our things, and then united forces. And if the person want and feel the call to create also projects together and to with different skills to help each other to co-create projects that bring abundance and prosperity. That was what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
That's
So we heard until there, more or less. I was trying to condense the thing. I don't know what you shared after. Maybe you shared something else.
I think it just got cut off there, so I had to reconnect, but it's fine.
Okay.
But yeah, that was a good point, what she says about redefining what community means.
So
And I
maybe
feel
it
like,
would be interesting to ask, what is community? Like, for example, I don't know if there is someone here that would like to ask, but what is community for you? If someone
what
wants to
does
share,
community mean?
what's community for people?
Yeah, I think for me, I like to look at words and the etymology and break the word down. So the community it's like common unity. So it's like there's a common unity between people. So there's something that unites them in common. And I feel like that's the way I've always seen community. It's like something that that everybody has in common that unites them. And the community, that's what usually communities are made up. It's like people are a community because they're united about one thing or something else. And for us, I feel like there are some principles that the community is based upon, and that's what unites people and brings people to the community because they feel like, yeah, these principles match up with me, so I feel like I'm part of this tribe. And that's what, to me, community is all about.
I think it was a beautiful definition, honestly. I feel you said it such a beautiful way because you start from the root of the word itself, and break it down. And
Right.
it makes a lot of sense actually, because then you're opening space with that definition as well to say, okay, whatever is in common between the people is about that community in particular to choose, what the people have in common.
Yeah,
But there is always a thread that is like having in common something that bring a union between, how do you say in English, uniqueness? Like that all are unique, but then there is a thread that is the thread that make them together.
Right. Yeah. Like something in common, for example. Yeah, I think that's it. So it's connecting on a common vision and a common goal, and that to me is what this community is about. It's about first defining what those principles are, what those values are for you, and then yeah, finding people who match with those principles. And then it's very easy then to just find your tribe because you see what your principles are and then you align to that community. And for me in the past, for example, I've been in many different communities at different stages of my life because that's what aligned to me in that part of my life. So now I don't feel so aligned with those communities because I don't have that same thread in common with them. But it's like that's just because my principles have changed and my experience of life has changed. So now a new community is there, and this is what feels aligned for me right now.
So we are always in a transformation. So during our life paths, and it's good because we're always changing, evolving, learning. So
exactly, it's constant.
Thank you so much for this beautiful definition. It was, I felt like this was a perfect, like closure, like a nice one with giving a beautiful meaning to the word. And thank you so much that you were here to share with me, Shani. I was really excited, and it has been really nice for me to have this talk together. And I hope also everyone enjoy and that you. Sorry, the dog. Ticcerina, okay. Sorry, she want to come also to see the live. Okay. Ticcerina, you want to come to say hello? You come. Okay.
Oh.
Okay, and thank you to your present to everyone. Oh, you're kissing me too much. Thank you to everyone, and I don't know if Shani wants to share something for sale or you're super welcome. And just thank you to be here, and thank you to everybody to listen.
Thank you for having me on, and thank you for doing what you're doing. Really appreciate it. And yes, if anybody wants to hear more, feel free to follow me or also cococreators.co, the Instagram account. We'll be posting on there much more. So Yeah,
Yes,
appreciate the chat and conversation.
and then this episode will be in my YouTube channel. I will put the link because some people come and go because of course life goes on,
Right.
and sometimes people are busy to stay a full live in Instagram. So if you would like to hear the full episodes, I will upload it in my YouTube channel, and the link would be in my bio. So you just need to go to press on the link, and then you can listen it whenever you want. Put the headphone, washing the dishes, go to walk the dog, whatever you feel. And yeah, and as was sharing Shani, they have their page in Insta of their project. And so if you follow them, then you will know when will be the announcement for the gathering of 2024.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you so much. Have a nice evening. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.